Every once in a while I come across something that I really need to talk about. Today's video is one of those things. There have been 3 different versions of Dead Island 2 over the years. One by Jaeger Development, which I've shown on the channel numerous times. Then there's the one by Sumo Digital, and then the one by DltaStudios, which is what we got. For the longest time, there's been nothing public about the Sumo Digital version of the game. And while we've still not got any gameplay or story details, now we got a better idea of what it could have been. So to jump right into it, from Steve Hurd in our station, we can see some early previs for the Sumo Digital version, which shows off the environment and in my eyes has a creepier tone like the original Dead Island. Like the other versions of the game, I assume this was probably going to take place in California, as there's a ton of palm trees around. In the distance, you may see some soldiers, and that's something I've noticed throughout all the art. It seems to be very human-focused, which is very different from the Dead Island 2 we got, as in case you don't know, you can't fight humans in that game. Some of the art shows off different human safe zones, with them making bases out of crashed-down helicopters and buses. The first game had random human settlements scattered around that you can come across that added an extra level of surprise. So it is a shame they were cut out of the game we got. In Dam Busters Dead Island 2, there's very few scripted moments where you get to fight alongside anyone, so you feel like most of the time you're just on your own. And so with that said, it does kind of make things feel smaller in scope, which isn't always a bad thing, but in a game where you're slashing zombies and that's the main thing you're doing, it does kind of get a bit almost like the game runs out of ideas too quick, but that's a conversation for another video. I feel like I've been so negative towards the game as of recently, but I do like the game, to be clear. Since I really never made a definitive Dead Island 2 review, I kind of just spread my thoughts throughout the videos randomly, so I'm sorry if you don't like that. The main thing that we know more about though is the different weapon types and the pretty cool looking mods. The weapons are simple like crowbars or katanas, but they're stripped with makeshift wires and batteries that give you lightning abilities, and so it's pretty much like other games we've gotten before, but I do like the aesthetic. Kinda reminds me of that E3 machete from Dying Light 2 that didn't make it into the final game. But in all seriousness, it is cool to have weapon mods die on you. I think that's a survival mechanic that's really up my alley at least. I know damn well a lot of people would be annoyed by that, but I do like that extra challenge. Before we move on to probably the craziest concept in this entire video, let's talk about the logo change, as it implies more than you might think. The Jaeger version always looked like this and had a San Francisco bridge in the D. But this new version has a D that looks like this, meaning 1, San Francisco was probably cut out, and 2, it might have revolved around Hollywood a bit more because that looks like an Oscar to me. The version of Dead Island 2 we got occasionally dabbled in the idea of awards, Hollywood, but didn't really spend too much time with the idea. But if that is an Oscar, then the story maybe had to do with filmmaking in some sort of way. We'll never truly know until a Sumo Digital employee no longer under NDA comes out and reveals more details. But honestly, it can happen now if more concept art is starting to come out. So back to the first photo I showed, you can see in the background the soldiers, and I think they're called the Los Angeles Special Operation Forces, which operates these death machines. Apparently, they were considering makeshift vehicles, showing off different ways to plow through crowds of zombies. But Dead Island doesn't normally have hordes or anything like that, so I don't think it would look as cool as something like Dead Rising. The whole concept seems extremely ambitious gameplay-wise, so I'm not surprised they didn't bring this back. With that said, that is all the public Dead Island 2 Sumo Digital concepts that we know of. I'm sure one day more will be revealed, but we don't really have enough to really come to an assumption about how it would have played or really anything just yet. So keep an eye out on our station, that's where I found this, and I'll leave a link down below so you can go check out Steve Hurd for yourself. Looking into lost media and things like this is one of the coolest things I do on this channel, so thank you all for watching. Feel free to share any topics or things you want me to look into. I'm always open to taking suggestions. And if you enjoyed this video, then do me the favor of liking it, subscribe if you want, and stop by for the next one, everyone. Cheers.